James 3, 5 through 6. The tongue is small but can set a whole forest on fire. If you take the time to read through James, it really tells a story about Jesus and, from ground up really, and tells the story about how he kind of, spoke a good word to the people and saved people, baptized people, healed people, and, even cast out demons. He's did so many things that were miracles in that time. And during that time, it was just a lot going on as far as Pharisees and even just, his disciples too. They were regular people that, he just kind of wanted them to come along on his journey and be an asset to his mission. And so today, we have a lot of friends. We even have a lot of enemies sometimes. And we don't realize what we say. We have family, friends, that we communicate with every day. And sometimes we don't really get a chance to sit down and think the words that we say and the impact that we create in their lives. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is, what are you doing throughout your week to be prosperous for someone else? When you go back to the story of John, Jesus is called the Word in John 1:1. He is the Word. And so God is the ultimate communication. He's the ultimate sacrifice. He is anything you can think about, he does it the best. And so it's just, we want to model our life after him. And during this time in John, whether it be casting out demons or just meeting people who are going through different things in life that are bringing them down, Jesus always spoke about healing, forgiveness, and freedom. And so these are some of the things that we gradually really want to attain in our life. We want healing, no matter if it's healing of our body, or healing of a relationship that didn't go well, or healing, family healing of a death in the family. Healing is something that can transcend any given kind of a problem going on, no matter where you look at it. And so forgiveness as well. Forgiveness is the next part of healing. Sometimes you need to forgive someone, or maybe I guess forgiveness is before healing. Actually, if you think about it, you have to forgive someone to actually heal, and vice versa though. Sometimes you have to heal first and then forgive. It's different for everyone. So, you can never just read it by the book and call it how you see it. And the last part is freedom. God gave freedom to the people who were in chains and in bondage. And so freedom is something that we really want to strive for in our life today and really every day. Everyone wants freedom. You don't ever want to be micromanaged or locked down into a certain thing. And so what are some things that you are doing to unlock the chains of others? And I feel like one of those things that we should be doing more of is using our words correctly and using our words more impactfully. And so our words can shape identity and destiny. When someone says a good word to you, it kind of unlocks just a special click in your mindset, a special click in just your overall being. And when you take a look at the Bible, Jesus often gave people that follow his commandment a different name. And that name was something that was effective in their journey. When you look at Abraham, Simon to Peter, just look at all the different names in the Bible that God spoke encouragement in their life and gave them meaning and purpose just based off a word. So this leads me to today. Are there certain things that you're going through that you maybe need to improve at? Or is there something that God is calling you to do and you just haven't took the steps to make that next move and solution? He calls you every single day, but it's, really up to you if you want to open the door or not. As he says, he comes to your door. If you are willing to open the door and listen to him and take the next steps to be called into your destiny, then, that's on you really. So are you aligned with what God is aligning and telling you every single day? And so it's so funny, just wrapping up, when you look at social media and you hear a word from a celebrity or the president or the mayor or, just anything chaotic going on. And once you hear just a sentence or just one simple word from that particular person, the whole world and social media is in an uproar. So certain things like that may mean a lot to them because they see it on a grand scheme. But the little things is what God looks for in his everyday people. You can start small and impact someone that, who you least expect, really, just having a good word, saying encouraging words to better their day. So just don't take your words for granted. You know, use it, use it very carefully, and be also careful to not harm someone in the making when speaking a kind of negative thing, to them. So just again, think twice before you speak, and also think twice when you make certain actions to encourage someone. You want to make sure that word aligns to their life and not against their life. And so, if we go back to the Bible, just one key scripture. It's a bug like on the camera, guys. Like one key scripture that really stands out is Psalms 19:14. Lord, let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be pleasing to you. And that is something that, again, we should strive to do every day. I understand that there's going to be days where it's not the best and we struggle to just see the good things in life. But you should also be thankful for those days, because when joy comes, it comes like none other. So at the end, I would just say, words are powerful, and when guided by God, he can transform lives. Just take this with you every day and just don't second guess it. So I just would like to say thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Subscribe. Right. And I'll catch you soon.